We'll talk about awkwardness because, well, awkward can be awesome. Thank you, Greg Steer. But anyway, inside joke. Anyway, I want to talk about awkwardness in youth ministry. And oftentimes when you think of high school, you think of middle school, you think back to awkward times. You think back to the days when you're still trying to figure things out. You're wondering where that smell comes from, and it's actually your armpit. What? You're just things are awkward. And you're not sure about life, and you walk the hallways of middle school or high school, and things just don't always seem like they fit in, or you fit in, or you're not sure where things fit in. And so things just sometimes are awkward. But the problem in student ministries as leaders, I think oftentimes we bring that awkwardness to the table in our student ministries. We enter a night, we come to a Wednesday night, we come to a Friday night, we come to a Sunday morning, and we bring back that awkwardness. Because we enter into a room of unknowns. We enter into a room where we don't know people. We enter into a room that's complicated. We enter into people's lives that are sometimes messy. And so sometimes I think as adults, we struggle with this awkwardness. And so I think we do two things. I think we either compensate for that by some overly extroverted activities. And so that's me and my goofiness. Or sometimes I think we retreat and we sometimes compensate for that by retreating back and just kind of going back to our comfort zone. But the problem is adults, our comfort zone doesn't necessarily serve our students that we're working with. Oftentimes our comfort zones are talking with other leaders. When we kind of retreat back into that and try to avoid the awkwardness of maybe starting that conversation with that student who's alone. Sometimes we're going up and keep participating in an activity or that event or that game or whatever it is. We bring the awkwardness and we don't face it, so we retreat. We talk with our people we're comfortable with. We talk with other adults who we have relationships with. We stand back in the corner in the silent, awkward adult mafia, as I often call it, because we just stand back there with our arms folded, and there's a line of us, and students look back and they feel like they're being guarded like it's prison. The awkward adult mafia, we retreat. We talk to the other adults that we know. Or we talk to that one student that we know. Maybe it's a friend of the family or somebody. We retreat to things that we're comfortable with. And so the challenge, I think, for us in student ministries is embrace the awkwardness. Because the truth is that students are feeling just as awkward as you are. And so as adults who trust and believe that Christ is at work in and through us, we really need to embrace that awkwardness, because if not, we might not ever have those crucial conversations with the students who really need it the most. It's easy to talk to the student who it's easy to talk with, who they just come up right up to you and they start talking and it's natural. But sometimes it's tough and it's awkward to talk to that student who is a little bit different, who's standing off in the corner. But those are the students we need to connect with, because those are the students I think Christ would walk up to. Just as much as anyone popular on the street I think Christ would walk up to, I think he'd also walk up to that student who, kind of makes you feel a little bit awkward. So sometimes I think in our ministries, we need to kind of overcome this awkwardness. We need to stop retreating and talking to those we're only comfortable with, be it the other adults. I think we need to stop retreating and doing the things that we're only comfortable doing because it's convenient or easy. And we need to embrace that awkwardness because the students are feeling the same way. And if the students can see us overcome our awkwardness and challenge ourselves by having some of those awkward but fun conversations, I think the students would respond in kind. And so my challenge for us as leaders in student ministries is to embrace the awkwardness, overcome the awkwardness, so that we can have those crucial conversations with those students who need to be loved, who need to embrace Christ, to understand what it means to follow him and to worship him, and ultimately so we can have those important conversations with them. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for leading students closer to Christ, and thank you for loving God.